And here we are back in our favourite violet flame spot. The flowers have changed a bit since last time because nature's always moving, and the shed is a bit more covered up with green as nature takes over again. Hi, thanks so much for stopping by Merlin's Mountain today and looking in at my channel. In this video we are going to talk about, I guess you'd call it, in the words of an old song, motivation radio. The way we hear things from spirit, from the angels, from the divine realms. And we all hear that stuff. Everybody living hears that stuff, but only a few of us are fortunate enough to know it's for real and not to dismiss it. And what I want to say today, friends, is something that came to me. I did a live, what you might call a live show. It was a spiritualist service in a church, which I did on Tuesday night with my good friend Sammy Kelly, and we had a great night. Anyway, before we start bringing spirit people through and giving out messages from the other side, the way in British churches is we always start with a kind of an address, kind of philosophy, excuse me, a bit like what a minister would do in a Christian church, only more kind of cosmic and new age and spiritual. And whenever I do those speeches, I do as I was trained, I start talking about whatever's in my head, and within a minute or two spirit guides are taken over and I'm just passing on what they say, channeling, if you will. And so that's what I did on Tuesday. And I'd just done a very short reading from a book of the teachings of Red Cloud. And I will edit in this little reading at the end. It's only a paragraph, but it's very powerful, from Red Cloud, one of the greatest spirit guides of them all. And he was on about clearing the path, so you can really kind of be in the flow and really have magic in your life, because you're meant to have magic in your life, because you're meant to be able to achieve what's essentially your wildest dreams, you know, because your wildest dreams, the things you think you can't do, those are the things you're put on this earth to do, and those are the things you can do if you stay in the flow and keep the magic communication open by meditating. And the rest of the world won't thank you for it, because of course you're getting away with being happy and having success that most people don't know how to have that happiness or that success. So there's jealousy, and it's not easy, for goodness sake. But and what actually came to me as I was talking about this on Tuesday night was I remembered an interview I saw with a scientist a long time ago. It was on a spiritual website where a lot of us were learning to be mediums. It's called Psychic Night. I mentioned it a few times before, and I'll mention it a few times again. Very magical website with magical people, and great things happened, you know. And there was this interview on there with a scientist who said that he absolutely didn't in any sense believe in any God or angels or spirit or anything. He was very respectful at that. Was what we were all about, though. And the reason for this was, as he said, well, if there was a God, he said, and if I was God, I'd want to talk to people. So I'd put something in their mind, like a radio, that can hear what I'm saying, so I can actually talk to people. That's what he said. And he was very right, and I'm sure just about everybody watching this by now is thinking of the pineal gland, which links to the third eye, which, you know, the third eye looks inwards, but it does channel a great deal of spiritual vision, as we know. And that is almost like having a radio where you can kind of listen to the divine and hear what's coming in. And of course mediums use it. I call what I do mental mediumship, and I do trance and physical mediumship as well, but most of the time it's mental mediumship. But just because it's mental, it's using the brain. It's using what comes in to the brain from spirit. And it's just like having a radio. When I was a kid, when I was in my teens, I used to love mending old radios. I'd buy a broken radio with my pocket money, which would be very, very cheap, pennies usually, back in those days. Because, it was a broken radio. Whoever owned it had bought a new radio and couldn't be bothered with it. And I'd take them home and fix them up, and I loved them, and I loved to listen to them. Sometimes under the covers at night, sometimes just, during the day. It was much better for me it was much better than television, because there was all kinds of stuff on the air, It wasn't so much having the radio, it was the quality of what was on the radio. At the time we had lots of pirate stations. You might have seen a movie called, I think it's called The Boat That Rocked. It's actually called something else in the States, maybe it's just called Pirate Radio. But it's about the kind of radio that we had in the UK from about 1960 to about 1968. But the heyday of it was like 1966 to 68. It was quite short-lived. And see, independent radio stations at the time weren't allowed in Britain anywhere. It all had to be the BBC, and the BBC wouldn't play the music people wanted to listen to. So people bought ships and anchored them just outside British coastal waters with massive transmitters on them, and they would play all the latest pop songs from the 60s, kind of like the Beatles and the Mamas and the Papas and stuff. They actually had American DJs on some of them, and they had British DJs who developed an interesting way of talking, actually. I used to be able to do it. It's very kind of fast-moving and very, quick and enthusiastic like this. And they'd introduce the latest songs and talk about, and it was like that. It was very fast and it was exciting. And no one in Britain had ever had radio like that before. So, of course, the government cracked down on it and extended coastal waters a bit so they could shut all these pirate radio stations down. There's loads of them. The most famous one, I guess, was Radio Caroline. Excuse me taking my belt off, but I'm off the road now. I'm just going down the muddy track to the house. So it was all banned. But anyway, my point really is, radio could bring you the most amazing experience. Whether it's music on a radio, or whether it's the spiritual radio that I'm talking about, that little receiver we've all got in our minds. And it's so worth listening to. But it all depends on the quality of what's coming through, and that's why it's so important to link to the angels, to link to the divine, to link to things that make you happy, energies that are good for you because they feel good, they feel right. If there's something wrong, you'll know. You want to stay tuned in to the good one. Same song said that. You always know it when you're tuned into the good one. It's pure and clear. Steve Hillage song called Motivation Radio. Brilliant. And when you listen to that, you're in tune with everything that really, really matters in your path through life. You're going to make progress, you're going to get places, and it's going to be good. Excuse me, must just look in the post. Oh, nothing there. Oh, well. I was really hoping a new router would come today. I need a new router to make my internet work. I'm still on the quest to make my internet work. So that's kind of part of my radio system, I get this stuff coming in from the spiritual realms and I give it out through YouTube. And to do that, I need the internet to work, and it excuse me, it hasn't been working very well at all lately. Every time I've thought I got it fixed, it's gone wrong. So I've dumped my ISP, my internet service provider, got a new one, and I'm just waiting for the router. So with a bit of luck, that'll come sometime today, and then we'll be right. That's what I hope, anyway. But it's not just having that link. It's being able to tune in and hear things. And you don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be particularly gifted to be able to do that. It's just kind of listening to, sure, whatever comes through in meditation, but observing what goes on in your life, If people come around you who are good, you'll feel right, and you'll know the angels sent them into your life. If things are going well, you'll know you're doing the right thing. If things keep going wrong and cocking up, it might be Mercury retrograde or something, but if there's no other explanation, that leaves you in the sure and certain knowledge that something you're doing isn't really working for you, and you need to think about what that is. And by staying tuned in to that pure, clear radio station in the sky, you get further and further forward on your path through life. Boulders are removed from the stream so you can stand in the flow, so it can work. Anyway, guys, I am actually going to patch that as soon as I get in the house. I'm going to read that paragraph from Red Cloud that talks about this. I'm going to stitch it into the video, and so you'll be able to hear it right now. Here we go. My appeal to you, my children, is that you shall not wait to realise your possibilities until you reach this world from whence I come, the spirit world, that is. That door can be open in your soul now, in this day of life. I not only appeal to you to open the door of your own soul, but I want you to go unto all the people on the earth and tell them of the door which has to be opened from within. There are many boulders in the stream of life. I appeal to you to help us clear them away, that the waters of life may flow clearly towards the mighty ocean of spirit. And there you have it. So thanks ever so much for watching today, friends. Or tonight, whenever time it is you're watching it. Hope you're having a great day. I certainly am. And stay tuned, as it were, for more rock and roll. Hit the old subscribe button. Drop a like on this one. Don't forget to ring the bell next to the subscribe button and make sure you get notified of everything that comes up. And I'll be with you again really soon, for sure. Internet comes and goes. It's been like that over the years, but I'll be back with you again for sure. So take care of yourselves. Why not drop me a comment? Tell me about your experiences with all this, because I'm sure many of you have been through a lot of things the same as what I've been through, and we'll talk about it in future videos. We really will, and we'll share the journey through the comments. That's always good. If you want a reading, my email address is down there in the comments. No, it's in the description, sorry, not the comments, but they're pretty close together. And I'll see you again very soon, friends. Love and light, blessings and peace.